It's a one-day capacity building workshop for critical stakeholders in resource-rich communities, organized by Spaces for Change, a civil society organization working to promote inclusion, equity, and accountability in the extractive sector. With the theme Centering Gender in the Extractive Sector, participants are drawn from Rivers, Imo, Abia, Anambra, and Enugu states, including women groups, civil society organizations, traditional rulers, media representatives, and members of host communities. The organizers explained that the workshop is part of a broader effort to build local capacity and establish community vanguards who promote equity, inclusion, and transparency in host community development trusts. They also emphasized the need for fairness and representation, noting that women often bear the brunt of environmental degradation and economic hardship in oil-producing communities.
Today's training, we're trying to, center gender in the extractive sectors. And by so doing, we are advocating for inclusive governance. By inclusive governance, we mean that every strata of the society, all the groups, both the marginalized group, the vulnerable groups, when we look at the women, persons living with disability, the youths, that when decisions that is pertaining to their well-being is being taken, that they need to be on the table where some of those decisions are taken. And so today we are bringing it down to the host communities because we know that at that level, a lot of issues on our extractive sector comes up. And so if those decisions are not well taken, it brings about conflict, it brings about protest and also unrest. And so we are trying to educate, we are trying to build the capacity of community leaders today to ensure that in whatever decision-making board, whatever decision-making table, that they ensure that all groups are duly represented.
The essence of this training, or the crux of this training, is simple. For the leaders that make the decisions, that make the processes, or the leaders that actually champion these processes across the diverse host community development trust in Imo, Abia, Anambra, and Rivers, to have the knowledge and the capacity necessary to make crucial and inclusive decisions. We keep talking about equality and inclusion and being just and fair, but the fact is that for a truly just society to exist, or for justness and fairness to be seen in these host community development trusts, every single vulnerable and marginalized groups, from the men to the women to the youths to people with disabilities, every single group has to be included. No one must be left behind.
Resource persons of the workshop urged stakeholders to take action, opening up decision-making tables and giving every group a voice.
The whole idea is to ensure that conflicts are resolved amicably, because when everybody is included, the community knows peace. Why do we always have protests in oil community producing areas? It's because people are not included. When decisions that affect them are taken, they are excluded. So today we are telling them that they have the right to be included in decision making that affects them. Women bear the worst brunt of impact, and then the youth are restive when they are not involved in this. And then people at the decision making, the gatekeepers must bear in mind that if the community must have peace, then every person must be included. So that's why we're here today.
Some critical stakeholders from host communities speak about their challenges and the hardships they face from oil companies.
We have to talk about the issue of shared benefits, which is one of the things that so many oil companies has refused to do. And that has brought about a lot of unfair treatment to our people, even if the oil and gas is taken from our community. You find out that many of these communities are left behind. And so we have to talk about the issue of benefit sharing. And we have to also talk about the issue of transparency. Transparency is one of the basic things when we want to talk about accountabilities. Company has to be held accountable for whatever thing that we are doing. And I also believe that our gathering here today is not just only to learn, but to take home and think of a way to protect our communities.
Participants also share their perspectives on the discussions and lessons learned.
I believe that from the lecture, we're trying to understand our rights and what we should do as a leader to protect our community of special needs. I think what we need to go and do now is to see how we can engage with our leaders for inclusion, for total inclusion without discrimination.
For the host communities, centering gender is not just a policy, it's the pathway to peace and shared prosperity, a reason they pledge to support efforts that promote gender equity, disability, and social inclusion in extractive industry practices. Eyi Tokwe Kutai, Channels Television News.